Alright, so this is now my second video. We're doing lab 2, guessing game. I'm just gonna get started really quick. So we are given one class named guessing game, and it does have imports, so make sure that you copy those. And then we have another class called guess runner, and it also has imports. Whoops. Guess runner dot. So I don't really see, stop is probably upper bound, but we don't need this import static java lang.system.star. What that does is makes it so instead of having to type system.out, yeah, it's trying to correct it for me, system.out.println, you can just type out.println, and that works for any import. But I don't see a reason to have that right now, so we can just delete that. Yeah, alright. Let me switch over to my left monitor to have priority, and we can read what's going on here. So we want to do while loop, and or and not. Create a random guessing game that will allow you to use math.random, a range provided, and then allow you to guess the number. The game will keep track of guesses and tell you what % of time you guessed incorrectly. Requirement to filter invalid responses and prompt the user. It must be replayed based on user input. Alright. So everything's gonna be, oh no, it's not gonna be hard coded. So we have guessing game, how many numbers, and then you pick a number, and that's gonna be the upper bound. Okay, makes sense. So I'm just gonna copy this first sample output because it's all pretty much the exact same thing, and then we can build it off of that. Let's go to my right. My left monitor. So guess runner. We're gonna put it here. Alright, so scanner keyboard. I don't like keyboard because that is actually like kind of a long variable name. I would just call it scan. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off by writing system.out.println guessing game, how many numbers, and actually not even print line. We're going to do regular print because 5 is going to be the user input, and it's on the exact same line as what they just put. So print will keep the cursor on the same line and not move it to the next one. So now we're going to do int upper bound equals scan, our scanner, dot next int. So this is going to get the user input for this question. So this is going to be 5, and now we have upper bound set to 5. So at this point, we can make guessing game equals new guessing game. We're going to instantiate it with new, and we're going to instantiate it with the upper bound of 5. Now, this is called stop, and I don't like that. I'm going to call it upper bound, and I'm going to teach you one little keyword because you might have an issue right here, but this is just generally better code because these two variables are called the same thing. You can't really do upper bound equals upper bound because they're both referencing this one, because it looks in this scope first, and then if it can't find the variable, then it looks in this scope. But if you want them to be the exact same name, and let's say we want to set this one, which we do, in the class scope one, we do this dot upper bound, and that tells Java to look in the class scope instead of the local scope, like the local function scope. So it finds this upper bound and it sets it to this upper bound. Now, you don't have to do this. What I just did was completely optional. If you want to do it how it originally was, you can just do upper bound equals stop, and that works completely fine. It's the exact same thing. I just don't like that, so we're gonna do it like this. Also, this can be private final int. Final, all it does is it just promises the computer that you are not going to change that values or that instance variable's value outside of constructor, and the computer ensures that. So if we do upper bound plus equals 1, it'll throw an error because you can't change a final variable outside of constructor. So yeah, that's that. Game.playGame. That's what we're gonna do because that's the only other method we can call. And oh, whoops, I meant to throw an upper bound in this one instead of 5. So we get, yeah. So guessing game, how many numbers? 5 or 20, whatever user input, and then set the upper bound to that. So now, game.playGame. We are going to, let's see. So we need to pick a number between 1 and the upper bound. So to do this, we are going to do int comp choice equals int math.random times upper bound plus 1. So what this is going to do, math.random gets a random number between 0 and 1 and multiply that by upper bound, so it'll get a random number between 0 and the upper bound, and then we add 1 to it because it doesn't actually get the upper bound, so we need this to be 1 through the upper bound. Actually, yes it does. This has to be upper bound minus 1. My fault. So now it's 1 through the upper bound, and it's an integer, so we don't have a metissa, which, if you don't know what a metissa is, it's the, in a decimal number, this is the metissa, the numbers after the decimal. Okay, so we need to make a new scanner because now we're getting user choice, and we're going to, because they said they want it in a do while loop, which I really hate do while. There's almost never a point to it, but I guess we can do it now. Int user guess equals 0. Actually, no, don't even set that because it might be true. So by not setting it, we're making it null. So that's good. So do while user guess does not equal comp choice. Oh, oops. Do while user guess does not equal comp choice. Oh, it does have to be initialized. Okay, so we can initialize it with something impossible, like -1. Alright. So now we're going to do this. So system.out.print, enter a number between 1 and this is going to be this upper bound. There we go. And then user guess, we're going to scan for the next integer, and we need another integer, int num guesses equals 0, And every single time this happens, we're just going to increment num guesses by 1. So that should be the game's logic, actually. So then that's done. So we print out the finishing message. Actually, there is a blank here for the finishing message. So if we go over here, you can see there's what we just did, which is these 4 lines, and then there's a blank, and then here is the actual message. So it took 3 guesses to guess 3, as you can see in the top right screen. Actually, it's kind of hard to read, I guess, but I wrote it took that many guesses to guess the number, and then you guessed it wrong 66% of the time. That is, let's see, how will I do this? Sorry, I'm kind of blanking here. In percent, yeah, I guess we can do it that way. So what we're gonna do is we are going to, wait, does that work? Let me do a quick math real quick. 3 divided by 5. That could work. I don't think it will. No, this won't work. So we need the percent on how many it took, how many guesses it took. So this is actually going to be double num guesses, and we're just going to do 1.0. So actually this doesn't even have to be a double, because this is already a double. It's going to return a double, and so we're gonna make this a double. So this is the percent of how many guesses it took, or percent of how wrong they were, right? 1 over times 100. Sorry, I haven't done this lab yet, if you can't tell. So I'm also kind of struggling on the math for some reason. So 100 minus that double, that should be right. That should be the percent on how many guesses, because this is one of them, and it took, yeah, okay. You were wrong that percent of the time. So now we're going to check. How many numbers? 5, 1. Okay, I guess 1 was the number. 5. Yep. Alright, so that code works. Actually, they don't want this as a double, they want this as an integer. So we can just cast this to an integer, 100 minus that. So instead of having this long decimal, if you want, you can truncate it with printf instead, but I don't want to. I'm just gonna make it an integer instead. Yeah, so there's the first game, and now we need to continuously keep playing this game. So after it finishes, it prints out 3 system.out.println. It prints out 3 blank lines, and after those 3 blank lines, it asks system.out.print, do you want to play again? And what we're going to do is actually up here, we're going to set boolean play again equals true. And while play again equals true, we are going to put this in here. And then we're going to alter boolean play again equals scan dot next line. We're just gonna scan the entire next line. Dot to lowercase. So it's always gonna be lowercase, no matter what case they put. You could also do dot to. You could do dot equals ignore case, but I just like making it all lowercase. And then dot contains, so they could type yes or just y. Contains y. So if it contains y, then play again equals true. If it does not contain y, then equals false, so this will not run again. And they don't have a message for if it is not true. Alright. That should be right. Like, that should be the entire game at this point. I guess we have to do this though. Yeah, I guess this has to be the toString. So give me a second. We can just return and then private int num guesses, private int comp choice, because these are used here, and then delete that. Guess equals 0. Yep. Alright, so basically what I just did is, because they have a toString function, I'm assuming that's just what they want. They want it to be used. So I just did the output of the game in the toString function. And what I was doing with these variables is I was making them so instead of them being created in the scope of this method, they were created in the scope of this class. And that makes it so this method can also call them. Yeah, I'm gonna do this dot just so clears up the confusion, in case anybody's confused about where these variables are coming from. I would definitely recommend getting in the habit of doing this dot for instance variables, but if you don't want to, you don't really have to. You only have to if you're doing something like this, which is what I said at the very beginning. I have a... Oh, yeah, that's what I have. You guys. Okay. So, this is the only thing I'm not sure about right here. Math.random. So, it gets 0 through 1. And then we need to go to a... Yeah, this is definitely right. Because 0 through 1, we need to go to the upper bound -1. So we put 5, we want 0 to 4. But because we're choosing 1 through 5, we need to add 1. So it starts at 1 and ends at 5. So that's why we do the 0 through 1. And that should be the game. So let me just copy this sample output. And we're going to see if it works. So 1, 2... Oh, yep, forgot about that one. We need to do system.out.println game because I forgot I moved the output to toString. So 5, 1. Do I want to play again? Why did that play again? You go scan on next line. Do we need to do that? Yeah. Okay, so this is what Mr. Gada was saying this at the beginning of the year. I just completely forgot. So if you're doing .next int and then you want to take a string, you have to do .next to get rid of the white space after a number. I completely forgot about that, but yes, that's how it goes. So how many numbers? 5. Oh, I meant was asking do I want to play again. Whatever, I just realized something else we forgot. we need to check if the number's in the range. So right here where we get the number, while user guess is less than 1 or user guess is greater than upper bound, we need to print a number out of range and enter a number between that and that. Yep. Alright. So now we're gonna copy all of it and we should be done. 1. Oh, nice. Do you want to play again? Yes. What? Play again equals scan dot next line dot 2 lowercase dot contains y. Do you want to play again? Yes. Let's see. Why is this false? We do dot next. 5. Enter number between 5. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Oh, I see. So we need to actually move this. Do we have to move it up here? Sorry, I'm a bit lost here. I remember Guider saying something about this a while ago, so I'm actually going to... I definitely recommend you do this, by the way, whenever you're lost. I'm going to... Let's go to my right monitor for a second. So, if you're ever lost, just go back on Google Classroom. He posts all the things for a reason. So, string stuff, char sum, that wasn't it. Introduction, that wasn't it. Was it? It was inputs. What was inputs? This one. So it was. Where are the notes? Syntax output. Was this the right notes? That's outputs. Oh, here's inputs. I'm done. Sorry, my bad. So, read integer value. Dot next int. Print line. He said something about integers here, and I can't remember exactly where it is. Oh, it was right here. Alright. So to fix that, we have to do keyboard dot next line. So scan dot next line. That should fix that. Yes. Alright. Now we can go back. So you saw I don't know everything. This is just dumb. But whatever. Now we can test this code again. It's wrong, 50% time, okay. Yes, I want to play again. How many numbers? 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You guessed wrong, 94. Okay. Do you want to play again? No. Alright, that's it though. That's my code. So, I know it's less all over the place on this one, but I was also a lot slower, so I hope you understood everything. I can definitely speed it up next time if you want me to. But yeah.